Hello, I am Cardinal Kennedy, and I'm back with another teaching, which is number 13. And I'd like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in this world. I would like to do a teaching on considering we're coming up to this point of the 25th of December, where people presume that the Christ was born, which is actually the wrong day. And my teaching today will try to go a long way to try to explain this to you, why it is wrong, and the true birthday, and why that needs to be addressed now, because it's very, very important. Because Christians have been literally misled for a very, very long period of time. And that is why they don't know really at the end of the day just how much they've been suckered by Satan, and the fact that Satan's used certain priesthoods to put this lies across, and which is typical of him. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that you understand the real day. Okay, so I'm going to try and start off and give you some explanation. If we look at Luke 2 and verse 7 and 8, we also find that the shepherds were in the, they were in the fields, and it was September time, okay? Not October. And the reason why it's not October, not November, not December, because if you ever lived in Israel, particularly in that time period, you'll find that when you get to the end of September, it then gets to the point where you start getting a load of bugs in the air, like, mozzies. You also get the weather goes incredibly cold. Okay, it's renowned. So the shepherds knew that then when to bring their sheep in, and the sheep would never ever be out after the end of that September period. Right, so October, November, December, no sheep in the fields, not one. Okay. Not only that, what's this? Second time I've watched. Oh, hello, Sharish. Nice to see you again on here. Hello, Gracie. Nice to see you. Much love and blessings. Anyway, what I was going to say to you is this: is that even the Muslims will tell you this, is that the fig tree was also ripe during the time when Mary, the Holy Mother, was pregnant and actually about to give birth to our Messiah. Now, again, just under the point of people who are gardeners should know when fruit is ripe, right? Because after September, the fruit starts to go off, and it's the ground's reaped away, and getting prepared for the next season of the following year. Right. There's another point which people keep forgetting, is there was a census that was taken in Judea. Right. That was organized by King Herod. Okay, he wanted everyone from different tribes that were going to be registered, so he knew who was what. Now, during the late October onwards, it becomes like a very bad rainy season, very wintry. So travel would not be very good. Okay, it would not be very good, and it would totally blow the census out of the water in getting it done. The purpose of it. So it would need to be done in the earlier seasons. Okay. Now, bear this in mind. Yeshua's parents came to Bethlehem to register in a Roman census. Now, that was under Luke 2, right, 1 and 4. Now, such censuses were not taken during the winter time, when temperatures often dropped below freezing and roads were in poor condition. So, like I just said, taking a census under such conditions would be self-defeating. Okay. Now, given the difficulties and the desire to bring pagans into the Christianity, the important fact then is to get clearly into your head is that it was fixing a date, which was 25th of December, sorry. Now, it fell in line with the story of Santa Claus, which, like I said to you before, in some of my written sermons, that Santa is an anagram of Satan because he gives false gifts. It's the illusion, it's paganism. Okay? So, a long time ago, there was a priest, and he was given this duty to try to go through the scriptures and to try to find out when Yeshua would have been born. But he obviously didn't do very much of a good job. But like I said, they were trying to incorporate some of the pagan people in the northern parts of Europe as Christianity was going through. So they needed to try to incorporate that. And the guy took information from the paganism again, and he created this thing where people would end up being deceived. And he turned around and said, that's the date, 25th of December. That's the date when Yeshua was born. I mean, they couldn't even get the name right. They called him Jesus. Yeah. And like I said before, on many of my posts, the J didn't come into fruition. It wasn't created until 1524. And you can easily Google this up. It's a fact. Okay. So, and not only that, the name itself was actually Yeshua, right? That was dropped to Yeshu, which is an insulted name. In a sense, it's kind of like saying you're a demon, you're Satan, and stuff like that. You're to be forgotten, obliterated. Therefore, taking the whole power of Christ's name away from the followers. Okay, it was an insult. You could not invoke the full power of Christ because you were uttering a wrong name. Okay, and that's why that phrase came out. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. Okay? Now we've got that point across. So you must understand that there's been a lot of manipulation in the early times to incorporate paganism into the Christianity, so they eventually get absorbed in. Okay? The whole point of the Sabbath as well being changed from Friday, Saturday to a Sunday, sun worship, paganism. Okay, again, so you couldn't keep the Sabbath as holy. Do you see where you've been caught out? Okay, the real Sabbath is sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday. Okay, so please, if you want to really, observe the real Sabbath, then observe it properly. Don't be doing things on a Sunday. Okay, so we also learn, when it comes back to the birth, okay, that Elizabeth, who was John the Baptist's mother, she was in her 6th month of pregnancy. And that was when Mary came to visit her. Now, we see that in Luke 1, verse 24 to 26. Okay. Now, we can roughly determine then the appropriate time when Yeshua was born. So, the father of John the Baptist was Zacharias, and he was informed that his wife was pregnant, and he was going through, there were certain things that were going through with ceremonies and stuff like that. But you'll find, if you look at Luke 1, verse 5, it gives off this kind of verse of when that kind of thing happened. And then if you take all that information that Elizabeth gave birth, Mary was with her during that time period. Now, obviously, there's only like, say, 3 months difference-ish, okay, between the age of John the Baptist to his cousin Yeshua. And so therefore people have then sussed it and brought it down to the fact it could be the end of September, or in September sometime. That is when they ruled it down to. Okay. Now, if you want the further teachings, this is what we know. And I shall read this off because I want to make sure that you understand perfectly what is going off with the true birth date of Yeshua. So, many Bible and astronomy scholars now believe that Christ was born on the 11th of September, 3 BC, as this was the time that the star Regulus aligned with the planet Jupiter. This only occurs once in every 12 years. 15 BC being too early, and 10 AD being too late for the birth of Christ the King. Genesis 1, verse 14. And God said, "Let there be light in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for the signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years." Regulus is Latin for little king, and is also known by the name of Alpha Leo. It is the brightest object in the constellation of Leo. Jupiter is the largest of our planets and is known as the king planet, according to ancient Romans. Jupiter was the king of the gods, god of light, of the sky and weather, and of the state of its 12 laws and welfare. Now, the birth of Christ is also mentioned in a lot of Matthew's scriptures, which I shall get to for you in a second, just as I move down. So please just bear with me. Okay. So Matthew, which is to do with the birth of Christ, okay. Matthew 2:1. When Yeshua, therefore, was born in Bethlehem of Judah, in the days of King Herod, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Then we have Matthew 2:2, saying, "Where is he that he is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to adore him." The King Herod, hearing this, was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And assembling together all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where Christ should be born. But they said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judah, for so it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come forth the captain that shall rule my people Israel." Then Herod, privately calling the wise men, learned diligently of them the time of the star which appeared to them. And the wise men were able to decipher the meaning of the alignment of the two king stars, Regulus and Jupiter. So we have undeniable proof and evidence that this is the time when Yeshua was born, September. We also know from our returned Messiah that it was definitely the 11th of September. Okay? Now, you understand that celebrating in December on the 25th is celebrating a pagan festival and not the true date of the return of the actual Messiah being born. And upon his arrival back, his new date of birth is the 9th of June. So we are now at the end, and we're getting to the point of Christmas Day again. Are you going to observe a false day? A pagan festival that brings trees into your house, mistletoe into your house, that decorates your house with things that really should not be even in your house, that you are celebrating and getting fat, gluttony, sloth, greed coming into this time period. Think about this. Satan has you right there. He has you right there, and he knows that you're going to be going out, probably hurting somebody in the process because of the Black Friday thing. You're being greedy. You're hurting your brothers and sisters in the process. You're thinking of yourself a lot of the time instead of thinking of your brothers and sisters, instead of loving each other. Those people on the streets, you've probably walked past and you've got an LCD TV on your hands, okay, or something else, and you've probably snatched off somebody, yeah, because you want it, and yet there's somebody on the streets desperate for help, who is your brother and your sister. You know that when you come before the Lord and his saints at judgment time, that the Lord himself will turn around to you and say, I was hungry, I was thirsty, I was naked. You know the verse, what you should do. This is the wrong time. This is not the real, true date of Christ's birth. This is celebration. It's materialism. It's glorifying Santa. And Santa is Krampus, the pagan, Satan. Why do you think if somebody's bad, he gives you coal? Look it up. Look into the history, the true history of Krampus. Why he wears red. Why he has these people, supposedly elves, helping him at Christmas time. No. Just have a thought next time as to when the true date is and to celebrate it on the correct time, which is September. And it's the 11th of September, when the Regis and their Jupiter were in positions. Okay? But I will say to you, and I love saying this to you, because it's what our Lord said. Love God, love each other, and may God bless you. Amen.